Ребята, привет! Добро пожаловать на Карина USA. Мы с вами в даунтауне Чикаго. Приехали сейчас на Michigan Avenue. И я приехала делать интервью с одной из самых популярных языковых школ. Сейчас пойдем вовнутрь и будем делать интервью с Уильямом, который согласился поболтать с нами и показать, как все выглядит. Мы уже сделали такой тур, походили по разным этажам, и у них очень много разных кабинетов, в общем, где проходят классы. И они как раз-таки для ребят, которые с разными уровнями английского. То есть это могут быть бизнес-английский, может быть какой-то начальный английский и так далее. Так что вот такие дела. Мы засняли уже интервью, и я сейчас сижу, жду нашу студентку, которая приехала тоже учиться сейчас здесь. У нее класс заканчивается в 12, так что подожду ее. И поговорим еще с ней, она расскажет, как проходит все. William, hello. It's good to meet you in person.
Yes, indeed.
Excited to be here. I just walked through this whole neighborhood before I got to the school, and it's such an awesome location. Let's talk a little bit about GT education and what makes you guys unique and so awesome, and why students should come here, because that's what I think when I talk to students, when I show them different options here in Chicago area. I just love showing them your school. So yeah,
They're special. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
yeah. So maybe you can briefly introduce yourself and the school, and just share a little bit with our listeners.
Sure. Yeah. My name's William, and this is GT Educational Center. I'm the marketing manager. I've been a teacher here for 5 years, and been doing the marketing side for about 2 years now, and teacher management. I'm from Chicago, born and raised. I'm not sure if I should be looking into that or this one, but okay. And yeah, I've been teaching ESL for about 15 years now. Yeah.
And you speak Chinese?
Yes, I did. I lived in China for a long period of time. I was a solo traveler, and that's why we, like I was mentioning to you earlier, that's why we really can understand the student experience here. If you come by yourself, a lot of our teachers have been in the exact same position, going to a foreign country, foreign place, and obviously we know kind of the difficulties and kind of the hurdles that you need to jump for in that kind of situation. So.
Well, thank you for this introduction. And that's very important that you mentioned, like, understanding the struggle the students are going through when they come to the US, because it's not just the new language, it's like the whole new culture, this cultural shock that they get. I've been through that as well. You've been through that in different countries. So yeah, that's very important. Maybe you can share a little bit about the location, because we'll show how it looks, where it's located, but yeah.
Yeah, our location is like our top 3 kind of highest qualities here. So we are in downtown Chicago. We are minutes away from museums, from the lake. A lot of the outdoor excursions that we do to museums, or the Chicago Art Institute is right here, the Field Museum, Shed Aquarium, Adler Planetarium. That's like a 15-minute walk. And so we're very close to all these things. So we're right in the south downtown, South Loop is what it's called to Chicagoans. And yeah, so everything's very accessible, easy accessible by public transportation and outdoor excursions. And it's just nice to have we have a huge park that's like basically our front yard, as you've seen when you're coming in. So yeah, our location is one of our big qualities we like to kind of push to students as a reason to come.
Those like museums and aquarium, like I'm going tomorrow morning to the Shed. I just love coming back there. I was even thinking to get a annual pass or something, because I come there so often. So yeah, definitely if you come into Chicago, you have to go and visit those, because it's something. Because I went to Florida recently, and it was funny because I thought, like, okay, Florida ocean, there should be an amazing oceanarium or like aquarium.
Yeah.
There is none. The one that they have, it's more of like a zoo, and they have a few fishes there.
So you have
and
to
that's
find them
it.
yourself, going out
Right.
and swimming in the water.
And I'm like, what? The Chicago one is so much better. So definitely visit the location.
Yeah.
So how long has been GT Educational Center around, and how many students maybe you've had all over those years?
Yeah. So we've been around longer than TikTok, but not as long as other things. About I think since 2014, so 10, 11 years. We survived the quarantine. We stayed around, and so we still are a small school, and we were much smaller beforehand. I think 16 students, 20 students, one location. Now we have 4 locations. I think 500 students total, and there's about, depending on the season, in the summertime maybe there's a lot more students, but at this location there's about 80 right now. So yeah, we've been around for a while, and we're not too old as an institute to kind of get settled in our ways. We're still growing, and I think that's important too, to kind of always be adapting to, first of all, the kinds of students that are coming in and what they want. Keeps us fresh and on our toes.
Speaking of students that are coming in, I actually have a friend. We have a mutual friend. There is a student. She has classes right now. Actually, here she came from Russia, and I'm gonna talk to her after our interview just to see how everything is going, how she's loving it, because she told me that she's just in love with the school and with the host family, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Also, like what I love about the school is that when the student gets enrolled, they're not just like studying and that's it. They also get help with accommodation if needed. So maybe you can share a little bit about that, what accommodation options there are available for students and how it works.
Yes, that's awesome. So yeah, we have a homestay family. We have one specifically that we work with that is amazing, and it gets yes, it's what's the student's name? Uliana. Okay, yes. So it's they're amazing. They're a great family. And we in addition to homestay, we have that main family, and there's also other options. But we also actually just got a off-campus residence that's like a building in Lincoln Park, a 10-unit like apartment complex in right by DePaul University. So it's a college neighborhood. It's a not rural. It's a very safe urban, but kind of college, kind of upbeat sort of atmosphere and energy. Anyways, we have 10 units there. Instead, that's also a place for students to stay. All GT students can live there. And that's only maybe 25 minutes away by public transportation. So we're really excited about that, especially in the summertime when a lot more students come in, and we can give them affordable accommodation and easy access, and also they get to be around other students as well for kind of a dorm kind of vibe there. So basically,
They can choose whether they want to have like a private room or share a room with someone. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Should I go into more details? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So yeah, private rooms, double rooms as well. Again, there's 10 units. There's even a garden suite that you can have as well. So we try to give as many options as possible. So there's homestay, and there's even within the same building. In this building, East West University has dorms as well that students can live at. They're a little bit more expensive because it's downtown pricing, but that's another option we afford to students for long-term stays. So you don't even have to. It's in the same building, so you don't even have to. In the wintertime, if you're staying in the wintertime, you don't need to just come in your pajamas, and that's fine.
It's funny, so American, right? And I also wanted to ask, like, if someone watching this video, let's say an international student or is coming to a different school, is there a way for GT to help that student with accommodation, or accommodation is only for GT students?
So it's only for GT students, but it's if it's like a child or a partner, we do make arrangements for that to happen as well if there's some relation to that.
What does the enrollment process look like when someone wants to apply and study with GT? What do they need? Is there like a TOEFL exam that they need to pass or anything like that? Because I know the answer, but for anyone who's looking.
You have to do 10 jumping jacks. You need to show physical fitness to a high degree. It's pretty simple. The enrollment process. If you're coming as an F1 student, it's just a couple documents that we need. We can issue an I-20 to get that visa interview pretty quickly. If you're within the United States with a residence permit or with a tourist visa, it's super simple and quick. We can do it within a day, basically. We encourage students, especially for the summertime, to enroll the sooner the better, just because especially with accommodation spots are limited. We have programs running, all year, and start dates that happen all year, but there is some limitability or limited availability, I should say, with accommodation. So sooner the better for that. But we're very flexible in terms of students coming in with that.
And I also love that classes start pretty much every month, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's also, this flexibility is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever they need to come in, we can.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. For the English requirement, basically, there is no necessarily English requirement because you have different levels of classes.
Right.
All of them are taught in English, right? So let's say someone is coming who doesn't speak English at all, or maybe they're at like below A1. So what do they do?
So for like zero level or just our very low level beginners, so we give an online placement test, and we also will do a short speaking assessment if a student is at that level where they just have maybe hi, hello, how are you. We usually try to give them a preliminary batch of content that they can self-study to kind of prep them for coming in. But we also have classes from A1 until C2. And we even kind of differentiate it further. We have, for example, like there's low beginner, beginner, high beginner, and low intermediate, high intermediate. And that allows us to kind of really pinpoint the student level, so there's not too much difference. So it's easier. It's better for the teachers, better for the students as well. But we do, so if you're A1 or C2, we have classes for everyone.
Which is also amazing because, many students, and I guess the other amazing part is that you don't necessarily have to be an F1 student, like a student to study English. You can be a tourist and just come here part-time and get your desired level of English, I guess. Yeah.
If you're a resident here, if you're a tourist visa, and in the summertime especially, most of our students are F1s studying here full-time, but we're very, very flexible.
So what is it like how does the average day look like for a student, for someone who came here as an international student? They study full time, right? Around 20 hours a week. So what do they do on a daily basis?
Okay. The schedule here downtown, we have varying schedules. The one downtown is 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. We have other locations that have 3 days a week if a student kind of requests that, or if that fits a little bit more into their plan for how they want to live and study in Chicago. But at the downtown location, 9 a.m. is classes, hour and a half of study time. There's a little 15-minute break in the coffee area here, 10:45 to 12. Lunch, half an hour, and then there's some classes after that as well. Usually in the afternoon is when teachers will do activities to kind of get oral output or written output to consolidate the things they've learned earlier in the day. So very often this takes the form of games or activities. Sometimes classes will join to do these sorts of things, so they're using the language that they learned earlier in the day. Right? So 9 to 10:30 and 10:45 to 12 would be kind of more grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, practicing, and then presenting, practicing, and then producing in the latter half of the day. So that's, and then also after lunch, if you get a little food in you, sometimes students can get a little tired. Understandable. I was a student once, and so I get it. So we try to get them up and moving and using the language as much as we can. I think that's the most efficient and effective way. So.
All right, awesome. And then are there any field trips or something that you do with students for fun, shed aquarium or something?
So when we talked about things that make GT special, so there's schools that are very academic, such as Kaplan. Kaplan is a school that's well known, and they're in Chicago. They're even just down the street. GT is more about community. We obviously have academics. We're very proud of our staff here that's certified, but we're also very proud about creating a community, a tribe with students, because when they're traveling to a foreign place, they could learn English by themselves in their home country if they're that self-motivated, right? But it's about community, developing relationships, for sure, as part of that experience. And we do have tons of field trips, to get to your question. At least once a week, we do field trips, outdoor excursions. We also have every orientation, we have a pizza party for students to get to know each other. for orientation. We have school-wide activities like a GT English Olympics we have to get people kind of moving, physical, and a little bit of competition. Never hurt anybody. Friendly competition where we mix the levels. Museums, baseball games, basketball games. The most popular one we have is a Chicago architectural boat tour. You go on the river. You have been, of course. I've been on 10 times. It's great. I'm a local, and for locals or tourists alike, everyone loves it. And it's gorgeous. If you like architecture, even better. But you're on a boat, and it's nice weather. So at least once a week we have outdoor excursions, and we also have indoor stuff that we do.
That's really cool, and that's necessary, I guess, when you're in a new city. You want to explore, right? Not just sit in a classroom, and that's how you get this culture in as well. So yeah, that's amazing.
We're downtown, so it's super easy to get to these things. It's walking distance or a short bus ride. It's not like we're taking an hour-long trip.
For those international students that are coming here to study English, let's say someone wants to go and get transferred to college later or university.
Right.
Are there any like partnerships, or how do you help students with their future goals of studying in the U.S.?
So GT Educational Center, actually, the GT stands for goal training. So that was the original, and then we shortened it. But goals are, it's like an old kind of hack to have, just like a checklist for each individual. It's like it's a psychological hack that's one of the oldest known to man. So setting goals, smart goals, and anything you do in life is important. In language training, we try to do the same thing so students are aware of their progress and how to kind of calculate their progress so they don't feel like they're just spinning their wheels, so to speak, and not accomplishing anything. So we do have goals that we set for these students. If they want to go to careers, we have that goal kind of path for them. For universities, we have pathway programs. Universities in this area that we can easily, basically for that is as long as you pass the advanced level at GT, you don't need to take a TOEFL exam to get into these colleges, which is huge because TOEFL exams, as a teacher, they're annoying, and students don't like them that much as well. TOEFL or else. So we have pathway programs for that. If you want to be here for daily communication, just to work on your English, we're great at that for community. If you want to do more career-oriented business English management, I showed you that class upstairs, right? That's one of our advanced plus courses. We have more than a dozen of those to specify for each individual, depending on what they want to do. And obviously, if you want to go into university, we have pathway programs.
Yeah, that's very helpful, and especially because I was an international student myself, and I went to college. I graduated from university later, but the path was similar. I went to study English first, so I don't have to pass TOEFL exam, and then got accepted to college after it, and it saved me money to transfer to the bachelor's to the university. So it's a very awesome pathway that exists in the U.S.
It's a very smart way to go about it too. Like you mentioned, the saving money, right? So university education can be pretty expensive, and that's a nice way to save money. And then when you go into your specified major or degree, then you transfer, and then you go to the university for that. So well done, Karina.
Thank you. What advice would you give to students that are thinking or maybe doubting of coming to the U.S. because of not enough English, or afraid of not fitting into this culture, or stuff like that? Because you also went abroad, and you know how stressful that might be. So what would you suggest them? What can they do while they're still at home to kind of like prepare?
My one piece of advice is also Nike's slogan: just do it. Do it even if you're afraid, and it's an easy thing to say and a difficult thing to do. But the quicker you can find a way to shed that fear and not be afraid of making mistakes, your progress with language and life is going to be a lot faster. In terms of what to do if you're at home, is if you want to build a little bit more confidence, obviously, then you could try there's tons of content online to find. In fact, like students, even if they don't, and during their consideration process of, all the options that they have for schools, I still send out materials to them, say, okay, well, if you didn't choose GT, that's fine. But here are some materials that could help you. These are free. As a teacher, I know these are very good free materials. I'm giving them to you because if you just give a student a computer and say, look up English content, it's the internet. right? There's a lot of different options. So I was a traveler abroad and I studied Chinese. So we understand we're teachers and educators at heart. So we just want to make sure, even if you don't choose GT, then you're being educated in the right way. So that would be my piece of advice, is just even if just do it afraid, but just try to get over here and you won't regret it.
Agreed. And it's always, there is a phrase also, I think Amazon founder said that it's hard to connect the dots looking forward, but you can connect the dots looking backwards or something like that. Same here, like you just start with small steps and they somehow come together. If you go to that direction. So, and then you see like, and it seems impossible until it's done, right? So as soon as you start going that way, and I also feel like America, because where I'm from, it's an amazing culture, but it's different. And when I came to the US, I was kind of shocked that everyone is so helpful and they don't want anything back for that. They can just share advice, contacts, and stuff like that without you paying for it, let's say, right? And it was surprising for me because it's a different culture. So that's why I always say to everyone like, who follows me on Instagram and other social media channels, that just ask. You never know. Like people will share. They will help you out. So yeah. Well, thank you so much, William. It was an amazing conversation. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah. Sorry. Thanks, Karina. Yeah. And that's a great phrase that you mentioned before about another idiom we have is hindsight's 20/20. Everything's so much clearer looking backwards, but the path forwards can be a little bit difficult, obviously. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's a very rewarding experience. And also, I just also wanted to mention to your point of like helpfulness. Also, if students are looking to study in the United States, there's many different options, right? New York, California comes up, Florida, but in the Midwest, we are very friendly. And Chicago is it offers all the qualities of a big city with entertainment, things to do, especially in the Chicago summer. You can do something different every single day, and a lot of that's free, and that's awesome. But we're also got the Midwestern hospitality and a niceness to it too, as you mentioned. Yeah, we're not going to scream at you.
Or honk when you crossing the road, because I was just sharing before when we were talking about Midwest hospitality, is that when I went to New York, it was a completely different experience. I did not expect that. I loved the city, this crazy energy and everything, but people are so different than here in Chicago.
It's a big country, and it's a big country, and the cultures can be, there's East Coast culture, West Coast, down south, and Midwest. There's the different cultures will have different kinds of ways of interaction. For sure. Yeah, so it was a good experience. So definitely travel to see different sides of America. But yeah, if you have any questions, please comment down below, and we'll share all the contact information in the description under this video. So yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next videos. Я встретила Ульяну, и мы вот сейчас с ней гуляем по парку. Хочу ее поспрашивать, как ей учеба, как ей вообще вот этот вот экспириенс именно учить английский в Америке. Так что вот, знакомьтесь.
Всем привет. Ну что, начнем? Начнем диалог. Как школа? Школа мне очень нравится. Вот, я очень боялась вначале приезжать, потому что непонятно было, как ты себя будешь чувствовать, как ты будешь разговаривать на английском языке, когда у тебя уровень очень средний. Вот, много людей, все иностранцы, да, это не очень... Там первый день мне на самом деле было прям супер страшно, это когда я пошла домой, мне некомфортно. Вот. Но здесь очень-очень классные учителя, они тебя вообще погружают просто в среду, все объясняют, настолько все понятно, что даже если у тебя очень низкий уровень английского, здесь будет в школе супер комфортно. Вот. Все учителя очень молодые, очень интерактивные. Тут вообще все обучение проходит очень быстро. Я учусь 3 часа в день. И получается, что урок проходит очень быстро, потому что на уроке ты и читаешь, и у тебя есть грамматические правила, которые ты проходишь. Мы очень много общаемся между собой с ребятами в классе. У нас немного, кстати, человек 10, наверное, в классе. Да, ребят, мы все разные, никого, вот в моем классе нет ни одного, кто говорит на русском языке. Поэтому я всегда тотально разговариваю только на английском. В общем, школа, да, супер, очень чисто, очень комфортно добираться мне из дома, в котором я живу. Я живу в семье.
Да, вот расскажи, кстати, про семью. Мне кажется, такой интересный эксперимент.
Я на самом деле абсолютно каждому человеку рекомендую, когда вы приезжаете в Америку, изначально вот хотя бы первый месяц-два пожить в семье, потому что семья полностью тебя вообще погружает в американскую культуру, ты изучаешь правила, как тебе себя здесь вести, какие могут быть моменты, то есть ты прям семьей, они тебя вот как твои родители, это родился такой, у меня такие были ощущения, что вот я прилетела, родилась такая, вот тебе дали, тебе дали маму и папу, и ты все, и ты родился такой, вот твои родители, они тебе рассказывают, здесь аккуратнее, там, не знаю, здесь в это время не езди, добирайся так. То есть мне попалась очень клевая семья, всем рекомендую. Вот, очень классный муж с женой. Настолько мне здесь помогали вообще со всеми вопросами, которые у меня были. Провели меня в школу. Первый день мы проехались вместе, они мне показали, как добираться. Все вопросы, которые у меня возникают, любые вопросы, которые возникают, там неважно, хочу я там открыть номер телефона, купить симку, хочу я там банковский счет открыть. То есть все вопросы я первоначально решаю с ними. Еще что невероятно удобно, что ты приезжаешь вечером после учебы, и тебя ждет на столе вкусный ужин. Тебе не надо готовить самой. Получается, у нас есть 2 приема пищи, мы завтракаем. Вот. Это то, что да, я оплатила, и как бы все, мы приезжаем, мы там утром, условно, мы завтракаем одни студенты. Просто больше нет дороги. Да. Вот. И ужин, у нас есть такая традиция в семье, мы в 7 уже обычно все возвращаемся домой. В 7-8 мы садимся все вместе. Ну, сейчас вот мы вчетвером, живу я и еще один парень, студент со мной живет. Мы возвращаемся из школы и садимся ужинать все вместе. Это болтаем, мы очень много. Вообще в семье ты очень много разговариваешь, всегда. И вот как только я приехала, то есть твой английский, у тебя нет вообще ни минуты, ни одной вообще минутки маленькой, чтобы как-то, как сказать, подумать, что тебе сказать, потому что ты начинаешь говорить абсолютно сразу. Вот ты пришел, я достала телефон, у меня села батарейка, думаешь, так, где здесь розетка? Ты думаешь, блин, я не знаю слово розетка. Такой, типа, да, все, ты сразу гуглишь, розетка, вот она, ты говоришь так, и здесь абсолютно совсем, то есть, конечно, когда ты учишь язык у себя дома, это одна история, но когда ты приезжаешь, ты здесь начинаешь разговаривать очень быстро, потому что у тебя нет времени, ну, то есть, когда еще?
Телефон разрядился, надо сказать.
Да, телефон разрядился, еще что-то случилось, там, тебе нужно где кофе попить, можно ли выйти, или там, не знаю, ну, какие-то моменты, то есть ты разговариваешь всегда, и сначала ты не очень понимаешь, но потом тоже начинаешь изучать слова. Я вот здесь уже 3 недели я уже, да, здесь. Все это очень просто становится, очень просто. Просто в школе, потому что тебе объясняют на твоем уровне, как бы они же выбирают каждого. У нас первый день был экзамен, и мы как бы всех нас распределили по классам. И вот у меня один из самых простых классов, и я очень боялась, что мне будет непонятно. В семье будет непонятно, в школе будет непонятно, но это все развеялось вообще в первые же дни, потому что и в семье все понятно, ты можешь где-то перевести, но тебе все равно, даже если ты не понимаешь слово, тебе пытаются его объяснить. Вот. Никто не нервничает, никто не злится, никто, да, не знаю, ничего с тобой не делает. То есть для всех все окей, все спокойно ждут, пока ты не сообразишь, не погуглишь слово «розетка». Вот. И здесь в этом плане очень-очень спокойно, очень классно. И я, на самом деле, каждому рекомендую хотя бы первый месяц пожить в семье. Неважно, какого ты возраста, абсолютно. Ну, маленьким студентам 100%, да, но и взрослым обязательно, потому что это очень классно. Да, это крутой опыт. Ты сразу погружаешься в культуру, и тебе сразу становится понятна страна. Все, ты понимаешь правила, и ты по ним живешь дальше. Тебе не надо их изучать, не надо набивать шишки, все, у тебя вот есть твоя семья, пришел, спросил, они тебе сказали.
Слушай, ну спасибо, это правда такая история, мне кажется,
пока не проживешь ее, не поймешь. Да, и у меня вот такой опыт был в детстве. Я тебе вот рассказывала, пока мы немножко прогулялись.
37.
Да. You don't look 37. Молодец. Ну, в общем, не суть. Суть, что очень классный такой экспириенс. И да, я прям рада слышать, потому что я первый раз, если честно, вот так вот от этой школы кого-то селила в семью, поэтому я прям рада.
Искренне желаю абсолютно каждому пожить в той семье, в которой живу я, потому что они просто невероятно крутые люди, невероятно, очень просто. Но помните, это моя семья. Да, если мне надо. Вот, потому что они... У меня были очень большие стереотипы по поводу того, что может быть какая-то неискренность или еще что-то, но это все развеялось, потому что люди супер интересные, они много разговаривают, они много задают вопросов, им очень интересно, как живешь ты, какие твои привычки, они готовят для тебя, чтобы тебе было комфортно, вкусно, то есть все для тебя. В общем, это очень здорово, и это очень помогает, когда ты только вот приехал, ты чувствуешь себя немножко уязвимо. Но семья, это вот, я говорю, как твои мама и папа, которые тебя обнимут, помогут, все тебе сделают, поэтому искренне их рекомендую.
Я пока делала сейчас интервью вот с Уильямом в этой школе, он мне тоже сказал, что вот эта вот семья, в которой ты живешь, это 15 лет, самая давняя семья этой школы, с которой они сотрудничают, так что да.
Да, они очень веселые, еще они иногда играют на гитаре.
На гитаре вообще прикольно. Такие дела, ребят, и мы как раз вот в парке гуляем, вон там эта школа. И здесь у них такой прикольный парк. Я здесь ни разу еще не была, и очень даже неплохо.
Я повторюсь, это для тех, кто любит потусоваться. Школа находится в центре. То есть у нас здесь получается парк. То есть после школы можно взять кофеечек, выпить его в парке. После парка сразу начинается озеро. То есть если вы приезжаете летом, можно себе в рюкзак кинуть купальник. И буквально 5 минут, и вы около озера. Купайтесь, загорайте, то есть локация, школа вообще идеально. Здесь куча ресторанов, куча кафешек, куча магазинов, все, вы находитесь в самом центре. Здесь много музеев тоже рядом, то есть я после школы, если у меня есть свободное время, я иду в какой-нибудь из музеев.
Ты была в аквариум уже?
Нет. Ну вот мы пойдем через пару... Вы завтра пойдете. Ну вот мы тоже через пару дней хотим сходить. Ну вот я была в фильме-музее, вчера мы были как раз. Ну то есть вот это все находится в центре, вот школа, и все рядом с тобой. Парк, озеро и все музеи, которые вы хотите, все здесь рядышком. Поэтому именно локация школа очень, очень классная, очень крутая. Всем рекомендую.